morning, everybody. We wanted to give you an update. It's a very positive one. I'm happy to tell you that this morning I believe we have the votes to finally adopt the budget resolution so we can move forward on President Trump's very important agenda for the American people.
Yes, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, on moving forward in the House of Representatives with President Trump's budget bill. CNN is very rankled about this, very angry. The vote is taking place even as we speak. The Democrats, and that means CNN, they're going to try to scuttle. Every Democrat is voting against it. No evidence that any of them have self-immolated yet today, of the Democrats in the House of Representatives. But the bartendress, AOC, she's out there being quizzed on, the stock market rebounded yesterday, and the Democrats are very angry about that. The lead story of the Washington Post with an actual banner headline: tariffs paused amid warnings, worries. They want you to be very, very concerned. They're the union of very, very concerned scientists and the union of very, very concerned journalists. Stocks surge on Trump's reversal, but in latest escalation, rate on China rises again. They're communists, and what do we? Do you really need anything? You need another $8.88 beach chair for Joe Biden to drag around in the sand. How many things made in China do we need? I mentioned yesterday, day before yesterday, here on the radio, how frequently my best girl and I will make note of the fact that everything you buy is made in communist China. And we're all supposed to say, oh, yeah, but it costs less. Yeah, well, slavery has that effect. And indentured servitude has that effect. And I've never been a big fan of everything being from communist China. In fact, I mentioned yesterday, that at the Chris Plant store on Al Gore's Amazing Internet, where we have many fine items for you and great gifts too, T-shirts, coffee mugs, and good things, we will not sell anything made in communist China. And I think that maybe a statement went out yesterday that was in error, saying absolutely everything on the site is made in the USA. And sadly, that is not true. But it's difficult. Things are made in the Philippines and in Vietnam and other places. We draw the line at communist China. Won't sell anything made in communist China because slavery is bad. Even as the Democrats and LeBron James like it so much, they love slavery. And the next headline, the Washington Post: chaotic 18 hours as White House switches course. They switch course. And the next story, lots of stories on the front page, 4 or 5 on the front page, all attacking Trump, just on the trade issues. Fixation on tariffs. What at the Washington Post? Disdain for trade, trace to 1980s New York. I played the audio a couple of days ago of President Trump on the Orca Winfrey show in the 1980s, talking about the trouble with trade and communist China and all that. It's true that President Trump has been talking about these things for decades, which means he was way ahead of the curve on all of this, way, way ahead of the curve. But the Washington Post, very angry, and they created a graphic that is just designed to be anti-Trump. They don't show, it's not focused on the stock market surging. It's focused on the fact, well, once, long ago, the stock market was a little higher, even after the rebound, and they never do this when Democrats are in the White House because they're not a newspaper. They're not a newspaper. Your Washington Post. What a bunch of people they are. They are amazing. All right, we've got many things in the Manderson Pooper he misgendered a woman who goes by they them so that she can use the HOV lanes. What else do you get out of it? Maybe she collects multiple. It's probably Social Security fraud, unemployment fraud. She collects. If you're they and them, do you collect unemployment for multiple people? Because you're plural, after all. You people. Something terribly wrong with all of you. Terribly, terribly wrong with all of you. Just amazing. Yes, sir. All right, but we've got more. Oh, here's a fun one. As a matter of fact, the Daily Caller has the story, and the headline is fun. You know, President Trump, the president of the United States, is in charge of the Kennedy Center, and President Trump took over the board of the Kennedy Center and put his people in charge of the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. And the headline from the Daily Caller today, exclusive, they love their colons too. Kennedy Center breaks all, and hang on, because they told us that Trump was going to break the Kennedy Center, ruin the Kennedy Center, and nothing would be good at the Kennedy Center anymore because Trump took over and put his people in charge. And now here we are in April of his first year in office for his second term, and Kennedy Center breaks all-time attendance record amid liberal bellyaching over, quote, Trump takeover. And there is a photograph of a gigantic crowd on the upper deck balcony at the Kennedy Center with the Watergate behind them. Wonderful stuff. Lena Nasser at the Daily Caller writing the story. The Kennedy Center broke its all-time attendance record for a public event March 29th with over 11,000 attendees for the Earth to Space, there it is again, Arts Breaking the Sky fireworks show, the Daily Caller has exclusively learned. The history-making moment was celebrated amid a flurry of criticism from liberals about President Trump's takeover of the entertainment facility. Critics voiced concerns about Trump's understanding and appreciation of the arts when he took control of the Kennedy Center. However, attendance numbers have told a different story, with a focus on shifting away from politically charged programming, usually transgender, pro-communist, anti-American. The facility experienced tremendous success with a widely attended fireworks show. That's why all these people are out on the... Now, Roma Daravi, who is a friend of mine and a regular on the Chris Plant Right Squad show on the Newsmax television network. Roma Daravi, vice president for PR of the Kennedy Center, boasted the successful turnout in a statement issued to the Daily Caller. It was wonderful to have so many new visitors to the Kennedy Center for Chia Guai-Pang's fireworks showcase. We look forward to their return for more wonderful programming soon. Everyone is welcome, Roma Daravi said. Wonderful woman, great pro-American person. The fireworks show, Kai Guo Quang, interspecies love letters. They got love going on between species. The Democrats should like that. That could be bestiality, and I know they're in favor of that. Didn't just attract a historic number of patrons to the venue, it also snagged numerous first-time attendees. A Kennedy Center representative noted 76% of all attendees at the fireworks show had never stepped foot in the venue before. The event was open to the public with free first-come, first-served tickets available on the Kennedy Center website. And it's kind of my best girl and I, we were hiking last weekend or the weekend before. I think it was last weekend. Yeah, we went down and parked by Thompson's Boathouse, and we walked down to the cherry blossoms. And since we were there, we went into the Kennedy Center and went up to the roof of the Kennedy Center where these people are seen in the photographs and took a lap around the rooftop. There's a great roof deck at the Kennedy Center. You can walk all the way around. Great views of the city and the river, and helicopters, military helicopters fly by below eye level. You're on the roof of the Kennedy Center, and helicopters fly by below your eye level, and that's great. Yeah, so visitors took in the show on the 360-degree rooftop terrace and flocked to the Riverwalk to take in the magic of art as the fireworks filled the skies above the Potomac River. First 800 visitors, the first 800 were treated a VIP experience, having the opportunity to to send an individual firework into the sky. Isn't that great? Fun stuff. And it really is great. And I've got to say that my best girl and I saw these fireworks from home, sitting on our couch. Hey, what are those fireworks? And we took them in from our home perch. Trump named conservative firebrand Rick Grinnell, as the president of the Kennedy Center amid a series of moves designed to strengthen Trump's grip on the Performing Arts Center. Well, since the president is automatically in charge of the Kennedy Center, I guess don't have to go too far to do that. But that's a fun story. And fireworks in Washington are great, of course. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. So we got that going for us. Yes, we do. Man, oh, Manischewitz. Our Democrat Party, they're really something, aren't they? Yeah, Elon Musk, number one taxpayer in the history of the world. And I love this is FEE.org. And I went to this, the Foundation for Economic Education. And I went and found this one, and this is a good one on Elon Musk, who they would be happy to assassinate, according to polls. But going back to December 17th of 2021, years ago now, the Foundation for Economic Education freeloading Elon Musk to pay largest federal tax bill in history, an estimated $8.3 billion. And yet the Democrats have been attacking him for allegedly not paying his fair share and for stealing from the American people and all this stuff. Amazing stuff. And from 2021, the Twitter machine, Elon Musk will pay over $15 billion in taxes this year, 2021, the most in American history. And at the same time, Elon Musk was tweeting out at the same time, Elizabeth Warren, the fake educator, fake Native American, fake senator, the total fake Elizabeth Warren, she tweeted out a Boston Globe story, December 13th of 2021, because Elon Musk had been named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. They used to call it Man of the Year, but then they eliminated gender because they've got genital issues. So the Boston Globe, Elon Musk, named Time Magazine's Person of the Year, capping a run with his time as head of Tesla, Inc., and all kinds of good stuff. Elizabeth Warren tweeted that out, retweeted their headline, and she said, "Let's change the rigged tax code so the Person of the Year will actually pay taxes and stop freeloading off everyone else. Stop freeloading off everyone else." And that's when he was going to pay $15 billion in taxes, because the things that the Democrats say are not only false, they're very, very often the opposite of the truth. Nothing could be more opposite of the truth than claiming that the biggest taxpayer in the history of the country is a freeloader who needs to pay his fair share. Honestly, you people ought to be thrown into boxcars, like Boxcar Willie, like homeless people. You bunch of expletives deleted. And I'm not even crying. I'm just thinking like Tardo or something like that, because how dumb are these people? Harvard professors. Oh, yeah, he needs to pay his fair share. Right. Go back. I think I'll have me a beer. God, they couldn't be bigger fakes, bigger liars. The all-new Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier has finally arrived on the scene. This new version of the Thunderstorm uses two technologies that studies have shown help to kill up to 99.9% of bacteria, takes away dust and pet stuff in the air, and a whole lot more, and helps get rid of any odor. No filters to buy and replace over and over again on a schedule. That's really convenient. You can hold one in your hand. They're only this big, not a big piece of furniture. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm will help get rid of any stinky smell, Guaranteed in your home, in your office. Talking about litter boxes, trash cans, cigarette smoke, left-wing protesters. Your awful mother-in-law's cooking. Right now, you can save $200 American on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for a whole home protection. So you put one in the basement, your teenager's room, one in the kitchen, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code CHRIS3, CHRIS and the number 3 to save $200 because we're friends. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is CHRIS3. Yes, sir. Yeah, these people, whatever they say, you can assume is wrong, a lie, usually, or they're just wrong because they're not very smart. And very often, whatever they tell you is not only untrue, it's the opposite of the truth.
Don't be a greedy bastard and not pay your taxes.
For what it's worth, I'm the largest individual taxpayer in history.
Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at WashingtonTimes.com/Chris. Ah, yes. All right, let's take a quick phone call, Michael. Let's go to Rick, calling from Front Royal, Virginia. Ricardo, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Whoa, I can't believe it. I always wanted to talk to you. All I was going to say was I wish at least once you'd work into your great sayings that of Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Warren, and Marina Abramovic, they're like the three Vestigian witches. I don't know if you ever saw Clash of the Titans.
The Vestigian witches. Well, they certainly are necromancing evildoers, aren't they?
How do you get that old and just continue to be, well, it's the age-old question. Are they that dumb or are they that evil?
That is the question. What's your guess?
I think it's a little of both, really.
Yeah. Well, that's probably fair. That's polite. That's very nice. They would say that we're just evil.
Yeah, I think that's their going mean, that we're all backwards. That whole thing about being progressive is a giant misnomer.
Oh, it definitely is.
Right word.
Yeah. No, that is 100% correct. That's absolutely right. And again, and that's right. They call us evil while they're shooting CEOs and celebrating the assassin. They're threatening in Colorado to put parents in prison for calling their little boys and calling their little girls girls. In Canada, lefties are already they put one father in jail for correctly identifying the gender of his own child. This is a mental illness, dangerous mental illness. And I shared with you the poll a couple of days ago. 55% of Democrats would love to see Trump assassinated. Oh, by the way, more good news. Winning inflation, the economy. More great economic news. CNBC with the story. Day after Trump sent markets soaring, more great economic news. Inflation rate eases, hang on, to 2.4% in March, lower than expected, at 4-year low. Because when Joe Biden came in, inflation was low, then they drove it up over 9%. Joe Biden, Democrats, the left, destroying everything they touch. They hate capitalism and prosperity. Just amazing. The Consumer Price Index fell, seasonally adjusted 0.1% in March, putting the 12-month inflation rate at 2.4%, down from 2.8% in February. Excluding food and energy, remember, that Joe Biden came in and our grocery store shelves were empty. Remember, it was like the Soviet Union. And Barack Obama said under his plan of cap and trade, electricity costs would necessarily skyrocket. he said, because they want energy prices to be high. They want you to have less water, less electricity, less heat.
Under my plan of a cap and trade system, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket.
They all applaud. Like Hillary Clinton saying, you could be the best candidate and run the best campaign and still have the election stolen from you. And the Democrats all cheered and applauded because they're mental, completely mental people, I'm telling you. Yes, sir. Yes, but this is kind of amazing. Excluding food and energy, so-called core inflation ran at a 2.8% annual rate, having decreased 0.1% for the month. That was the lowest rate for core inflation since March of 2021. And you look at the graphic, the chart on this, with Joe Biden driving inflation up over 9% in 2022 because you had left-wing economic policies in place. And that's what left-wing economic policies produce. They're not in favor of capitalism or prosperity. They're in favor of dominance and destruction at D&D. You know, they got the D&D on the dominance, and that could go a number of different ways, though. Yes, sir. Also, President Trump's bill to stop rogue judges passed the House, and President Trump's his budget bill has now passed the House of Representatives as well. And this is kind of a big deal, and the Speaker of the House is out there taking credit rightly, and it was the people at CNN, narrowly passes the House. You know, it doesn't matter how narrowly it passed the House, it passed the House. That's kind of what matters, because now it's going to go to the Senate, and that's important stuff, These people. Yes, sir. Now, here's a terrible reality. China. We call it communist China because communists run a slave state of more than 1 billion people there. Communist China controls 90% of the world's antibiotics, right? They don't need to wage war, John Rich writes on Twitter. They don't need to wage war. They just need to unleash another disease, then withhold the medication. And it's kind of funny because I was literally thinking about that yesterday. And that's 100% true. The Wuhan Red Death came out of the Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan, China. The scene of Chairman Mao swimming across the river to show how mighty he is. That was long ago. But it's true, John Ridge said, hey, all they have to do is start another virus, another disease, and they say, well, you can't have antibiotics. We really need to, for national security reasons, for global stability reasons, we need to wise up and start building infrastructure here in the United States of America so that we don't depend on communist, murderous slave state, the most murderous state since 1949, Mao's China, in the history of humankind, the deadliest gang of murderers ever, worse than Stalin, worse than Hitler, and his Socialist Workers' Party, the Adolf Hitler Party. And it's true, unleash another disease and then say, well, you guys don't have any antibiotics? Too bad. So sad. Now you all die. Because we're not preparing for the future. We're not even prepared for the present. And the left is here to do the bidding. The Biden family took in millions from the communist Chinese, and they're not on our side. Boy, are they not on our side. Not a chance. Yeah, and so the bill passed. You didn't get that Chicago lady, did you? Did you? Because that's this is kind of a fun one. The Breitbart people have a good story. Black Chicagoan, nice-looking woman, torches Democrats, They live in gated communities while demanding we take in illegal aliens. And this is a wonderful Ms. Carter Walters. Her name is Danielle Carter Walters, black resident of the city of Chicago, torched Democrats during a congressional hearing on Wednesday, accusing the Democrats of advocating for public policies that they themselves never have to live with. At the House Judiciary Committee's Immigration Subcommittee hearing on sanctuary jurisdictions, Carter Walters laid into Democrats for supporting illegal immigration, despite not having to deal with the consequences of such a policy in their day-to-day lives. And Danielle Carter Walters has had it.
I don't want anybody who crossed over here illegally unvetted. I don't want them in my community. The Democratic Party is so far from reality. They go in their gated communities. I don't see any of those people that's advocating to keep these people here. I don't see them in their house and their communities.
That is a fact, Jack. And she's onto them. She's cracked their code, I've got to say. And it's about time everybody started waking up to the negative consequences of policies advocated by the Democratic Party, which are just awful, I've got to say. And, you know, the murders, the cemeteries, I've been saying for years, I think they invest in gun manufacturers and ammo manufacturers and coffin makers because the Democrat Party, I'm telling you. And, studies underway now on the crime rates in sanctuary cities, and sanctuary cities not faring very well because you invite in people whose first act is to break the law in the United States of America. Democrats applaud that because they're not on our side. Just amazing stuff. The Center for Immigration Studies, with which sanctuary jurisdictions have released the most criminals. They release the most criminals because they love crime. Center for Immigration Studies. Low immigration, pro-immigration is their slogan there. California leads the pack, unsurprisingly, of releasing illegal alien criminals after being arrested for various crimes. And they say, you know what we need to do? We need to put these people on the street so that they can murder more people and commit lots more crimes. Newly obtained ICE records reveal the sanctuary jurisdictions that have most frequently failed to allow ICE to take custody of deportable aliens who were jailed in those locations. Over the period covered by the records of October 1st, 2022, February 6, 2025, more than 25,000 detainers were declined by these jails, and more than 1,400 instances the jails failed to give adequate notification to ICE in order to take custody of the illegal aliens who have been arrested on other crimes. More than half of the declined detainers, 52%, were refused by jails and prisons in California. The total number declined in California, 13,025. ICE wants them. And they're like, no, we're not going to turn them. We're just going to release them back onto the streets. Illinois, Virginia, Massachusetts, and Connecticut also had especially large numbers of declined detainers. Virginia needs to take a look at that. Now, Illinois, Massachusetts, Connecticut are liberal states. They like murder. You know, it's like Blazing Saddles when they're rounding up gangs of criminals. I think those were mostly illegal aliens in Blazing Saddles too, weren't they? And they're rounding up people to attack Rock Ridge to show them what's what.
Qualifications.
Rape, murder, arson, and rape.
You said rape twice.
I like rape.
Charming.
See, the Democrats, this is what the Democrats are doing to the United States of America. Cook County Jail in Illinois and Fairfax County Adult Detention Center in Virginia. Fairfax County run by Democrats. Don't they have a George Soros prosecutor there? I think they got a George Soros prosecutor. So they love to release criminals so they can murder again. And the Democrats Party, the Democrat Party loves rape, murder, arson, and rape. Or was it Rustlin? I can't remember. But they like rape because they're the party of Bill Clinton and Anthony Weiner and Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, and they're the Democrat Party. Boy, oh boy, just amazing stuff. And if you live in Santa Clara, California, the jail with the highest number of declined detainers. And as the Immigration Customs Enforcement says, when that guy who you've arrested for crimes, rather than releasing him back on the street, we want him, we'll deport him. And they say, oh, no. We're going to put these criminals back on the street. The jail with the highest number of declined detainers or insufficient notice to ICE was the main jail in Santa Clara County, California, which released nearly 3,000 criminal aliens during that time period. Cook County Jail, Chicago, Illinois, and Fairfax County Adult Detention Center in Virginia, not far outside of Washington, D.C., which is run by Democrats, each also released more than 1,000 criminal aliens during that period. Sure. A total of 72 criminal aliens with homicide convictions or charges were released during that period. Just hold on for a second, because more than a total of 72 criminal illegal aliens in the country illegally as illegal aliens with homicide convictions or outstanding homicide charges were released back into American communities by Democrats who can predictably expect more murders, and the Democrats are in favor of that. That's your Democrat Party. Aren't they amazing? Boy, oh boy. You might think they're not on our side. Okay, let's see. Let's go to a telephone call. Let's go to Barbara, calling from Rockville, Maryland. Barbara, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Barbara.
I just wanted to follow up. Good morning. I just wanted to follow up with your Kennedy Center comments. So this week, last week, they also launched an outdoor exhibit, and it was called the Celestial Bodies Exhibit. And it's out in that Reach area, which is just beautiful outside of the Kennedy Center. And the exhibit features 30-foot-high rubber inflatable models of the Earth, Moon, and Mars. And so last Thursday, we had such high winds that Mars broke free and rolled in front of the Kennedy Center. And I guess it's on E Street and ended up on the Whitehurst Freeway. So I have to say that some guy caught it on YouTube, so you could see it on YouTube. It's really pretty funny.
That is great. You know, again, my best girl and I were there last Sunday, and we were up on the day, and we saw the big inflatable Earth and whatever the big one is, the planets or the universe or something, and they're kind of fun. And they were rolling around. They were tethered to the ground, and the tethers had come undone. And when we were there, and people were running around trying to save the planets.
Yeah, I've lived in D.C. all my life. I've never quite seen that.
Yeah, and roll down into the Whitehurst Freeway, which goes into above Georgetown along the Potomac River. I didn't see that, and I didn't hear about that, but that is a hoot. Boy.
I think it was picked up on ABC, and it's on YouTube, so take a look at it. So
I will.
It was pretty, but anyways, had nothing to do with Trump taking over the Kennedy Center.
I'm sure that was the take that ABC had, though.
That's it. That's all my comment was.
Isn't that amazing? Day. Barbara, you're wonderful. Thank you very much. That is great. And that's a good, fun story. And my best girl, we did see the giant inflato planet and the universe, the celestial model. Great sight. And we looked at them. They were fun. I know the tethers were coming undone and people were trying to hold them in place. And they're good. They're like 15 feet high, maybe even bigger, maybe 20 feet high, inflatable orbs of the planet Earth and whatever else they were. They were kind of fun. Yes, sir. Your Democrat Party. The Democrat Party. I've got more stuff coming right up. Well, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, came to the news media a couple of minutes ago. He had to shoot down another Democrat lie. One of their Joseph Goebbels scale lies so big. Oh, the Republicans are going to take away your Social Security. Elon Musk is stealing your Social Security, so now he can buy nice things. But Speaker Mike Johnson, after passing the President Trump budget bill today in the House of Representatives by a slim margin of 2 votes, because every single filthy Democrat voted against it because they're communist pig dogs. They want everyone shot and assassinated. But Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
The big news today, of course, is that we passed the budget resolution. We adopted the Senate's amendments to the resolution, holding in place all of the commitments and the instructions, the guidelines that the House originally enacted. And that was a big step, because that will allow us now to move forward, to have our committees actually drafting the one big beautiful bill.
One big beautiful bill. That's one big beautiful bill, I'm telling you now. Inflation, Joe Biden got inflation up to 9.1%. Today it's 2.3%. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, please. And every filthy Democrat voted against it because they want chaos. They're the party of anarchy. And if I were the Speaker, I'd come out and I'd say, well, the Democrat Party, as usual, voted against the American people. They're the party of chaos, of anarchy, of assassination, of rioting and looting. The Democrat Party voted against this Speaker of the House.
This really is a one-team approach by Republicans in both chambers. I'm so grateful to Leader Thune and his steady hand of leadership. We had a joint press conference this morning making our commitments known of what we're going to try to do. And that is ensure real savings for the American people, because we have to do that. We have a responsibility to get our country back on a sound fiscal trajectory, and also make sure that we ensure and protect those essential programs. The Democrats have said that we're going to gut Medicaid. It is not true.
The Democrats have said we're going to gut Medicaid. It is not true. It is the lie told 1,000 times on the model of Joseph Goebbels, who they love. They love gurgle. And the Democrats, they know that a lie told once remains a lie. A lie told 1,000 times becomes the truth. They know that because that's what Goebbels said during the socialist worker days.
Did I hear you correctly say that perhaps he was influenced by Goebbels?
That could be it. That could explain everything.